I was in the kitchen. I had a coffee pot with my left hand, filling it under the sink, and my hand started to shake uncontrollably. And the only way it stopped was when I grabbed it with my left, or my right hand. So, thought that was weird, but then moved on until 2 weeks later, the same scenario. Coffee pot under the sink, started shaking uncontrollably. The only way to stop it was with my right hand. And so it began to happen more frequently, but certainly not all the time, every day. Your median age for dealing with Parkinson's is a 65-year-old white man. I don't fit that criteria. And that's when he sent me to Dr. Joseph Jankovic at Baylor College of Medicine, who specialized in Parkinson's. He has the movement disorder clinic at Baylor. So I went to him, and that was about a month and a half after being diagnosed. He immediately put me on Cinemet, and it's the gold standard for Parkinson's medication. And for me, it was a game changer. I went from not being able to type, not being able to function with my left arm. In order to move it, I used my right, to being able to type within 48 hours. I was able to rekindle my independence. I try and stay balanced. I try to stay balanced with my meds, with my mood, with my child, with my exercise. Just everything needs to stay in balance, and as little stress as possible is my best way of life. Then around Thanksgiving, there was a Groupon for a ninja class in Houston, and it was about an hour away. And I thought, another sign from God. So I got my 2 Groupons. I thought that's all I'll need. And I submitted my tape. And 4 months later, I got the call and competed in Oklahoma City. I was completely unprepared, which, to be honest, not one person that tries out for American Ninja Warrior is prepared. And there are some incredible athletes. But it's their job, the people that make these obstacles, to create obstacles that nobody can surpass. So it was never, I'm going to be the next American Ninja Warrior. It was, I want to prove to people out there that despite your obstacles, despite your shortcomings, there's nothing in this world that you can't accomplish in one form or fashion. It was never to hit that buzzer. It was to say, if I can do it, you can too. Something that I typically tell people is I don't have any extreme talents, but I just do stupid things that most people would never try. And I had always, my entire life, wanted to be artistic. My sister was artistic. I was crafty. I was creative, but I was never artistic. I couldn't draw to save my life. And my daughter needed something for school. And I had drawn this Minnie Mouse freehand, and I was like, that is not bad. And so I began drawing. And not every drawing turns out, but when they do, they're pretty amazing. And more than anything, it's, I've never had any art lessons. I have no formal direction, but I think that gives such a bigger story to my pieces. And again, it's not so much that I have this natural born talent, which I actually do, but it's that I simply tried. So I saw a list and it was like top 10 ways to boost dopamine. And one of those is art. Sleeping boosts dopamine, art boosts dopamine, music, exercise. And I don't really remember the rest of the list, but you know, anything that's therapeutic, anything that releases stress. And stress is our biggest enemy. Life's mission and message is to really, focus on creating a better life in this world so that my daughter can have the best life imaginable. I'm giving her lessons that I would never be able to teach her otherwise. She has no idea that essentially I will probably die with Parkinson's. She knows it causes a shake, but she also knows that I'm the strongest person that she's ever met. She knows that mommy will be there no matter what. She knows that I'm a cool mom because I've been on TV. She's getting to see some amazing truths that she wouldn't have gotten without Parkinson's. And that to me, is incredible. I want her to know that in the end, throughout all of life's ups and downs, that I tried my hardest, and in particular for her.
I knew something was wrong because I was a big snapper of my fingers when I was singing. And I couldn't snap my fingers anymore. And I noticed that my writing was getting smaller and my fingers were weak. But it was not tremors. I have 6 family members with Parkinson's, so I knew what it was. But it was devastating for me because I had always, as a matter of fact, I called Shannon and said, I want to be the kind of grandmother that is jumping out of an airplane with her grandbabies. When I'm 80, I'm going to be in a wheelchair drooling. And Shannon said, if you are in a wheelchair drooling, I am going to strap you to a tandem bike, and we're going to go cross country with a sign that says "Screw Parkinson's." And I thought, yeah, okay. But I did spend 4 days in bed, and every time I turned over, I thought, I couldn't get that thought out of my mind. I have Parkinson's. I have Parkinson's. I have Parkinson's. And then a friend said, I know bad days are coming, but don't give away the good days now. And I thought, yeah, that's right. That's what I've got to think about. I have to make the most of every moment. Nighttime is difficult. The day has been long, and some nights I have a difficult time moving my legs, especially my right leg. It thinks it's encased in concrete. And so at night I tend to think, what is going to become of my life? But enough crazy stuff happens to me on a regular basis. Maybe it's the people I surround myself with, that each day it usually is good, but the evenings are a challenge. There were a number of years where probably 3 and maybe 4 nights a week I would not sleep a wink, not even 5 minutes. I was wide awake. Now I got a lot accomplished. I lined the shelves in the garage. I lined the shelves in the kitchen. I mean, a whole lot got done, but I didn't sleep any. My friends have been really good at understanding. They have wanted to know. A lot of people would rather not know. They have wanted to know what the challenges are. They've wanted to know how they could help. And then I have some that will do what I think of as happens at halftime in the locker room, of a football game. I get those kinds of emails that are like, yeah, you're ready to paint your body and run out and say, I've got Parkinson's, those kinds of emails that really help me remember that. Shannon a few weeks ago sent me an email that said, she had heard that if everybody threw their stuff in the middle of a room, that we would all, as we saw everybody else's problems, we would run to get our own back. And I think of that a lot. I think that's really good. We need to remember that other people are dealing with things we have no idea. Honestly, I think it has been harder for him than for me, and I think it's because he had resolved that he would care for me, and now he's worried about what do we do now. And there are mornings that we are both so slow. I feel like we need to make a mark on the floor to see that we're moving. And in some ways that is tragic, but in some ways it is hilariously funny because we're both trying to get like a Ziploc bag open and we can't do it. It's like, what is going on? This is just wrong. But it's funny also. And so I try hard to look at the funny parts of it because people that haven't lived it just can't even imagine what it's like when you're like, okay, I'm just taking my, teeth and opening a Ziploc bag because it's the only way it'll get open. He was diagnosed 2 years ago. I knew he had it for about 18 months. Amber and I watched, we saw all the signs, and he kept saying, there is no way we both have Parkinson's. There's no way. And, part of you says, yeah, that's got to be right. There's no way. But then I come around to, have you met me? A lot of stuff happens to me that doesn't happen to other people. So that should mean I should be able to go get the lottery ticket and win. But what it means is Parkinson's, come on, It is, and I feel great concern for my daughter. Both parents having Parkinson's is a trial that's coming, and that concerns me a great deal.
Moving on every day.
I think staying busy, not busy for busy's sake, but staying active, because it would be easy to sit at home and feel like all is lost. But we aren't guaranteed tomorrow. And so we should all be living our very best moment at the moment. And I know that my faith plays a big part in that, because I don't believe that God gave me this, but it has certainly been allowed. And so, this side of heaven is messy. And so we need to be living our very best moments as long as we can. Because my friend is right. Bad days are probably coming. And I don't want to I want to live as regret-free as possible.
Hi, I'm Andy Hudgens, and I've known Robin, seems like forever. She's that kind of friend. Once you get to know her, you fall in love with her. We've been walking the Parkinson's route for about 20 years. My husband, Tom Hudgens, has Parkinson's, and only in the last maybe 3 years since COVID have I really seen it impact him as much as it has, because he, like Scott, has a real even temperament. He was a family counselor. He taught college. He has done all kinds of things. I used to say the only thing you haven't been is an Indian chief, because he's willing. He's always been willing to do things. And Parkinson's has cut him off at the knees. So when I found out that Robin had Parkinson's, it was very devastating to me because I know how she likes to give, and it's hard to give when there aren't the resources there. And unfortunately, Parkinson's takes a lot of your resources away. The good thing is we're in a faith community. I don't think we'd make it without these guys. I really don't. I look at people who have Parkinson's and don't have a support group, and my heart breaks for them because you feel very lonely. At 2 in the morning, when your Parkinson's person is up roaming around the house or maybe going outside. And now Tommy has Lewy body dementia, so he sees people, so he's talking to people outside in the rain. You know that there are people praying for you, and they really are. So family, I would encourage daughters, sons, read about Parkinson's, get to know it, be prepared, because it's not good, but it's not as devastating as it could be if you have knowledge. And I think you can be graceful to yourself too, because there are some mornings when Tommy and I just go round and round. And this is a man, I mean, we've been married 50 years and we never argue. Now with Parkinson's, his personality is changing, mine's changing. So we do have conflict, but it's okay, as long as you keep that communication going, as long as you continue to learn and seek it out. And I think the positive attitude, I told Robin a long time ago, we've chosen to live in the blessings, not the cursings, because you feel like you got cursings, you know, sometimes with it. But no, we're choosing to live in the blessings, and thank God for that. I thank God for Tom and all he's given to our family, and the fact that he is willing every day to get up. A Parkinson's patient gets very tired, and the call is to stay at home and just to isolate. But thank goodness when I say, let's go, Tom says, okay. But he does it. So I encourage you to love on Robin, to love on Tom, love on Scott, love on everybody you know that has it, but have grace for them and have grace for each other and have grace for yourself, because you're going to have times when you're going to go, did I really say that? Did I really say that?
So what do you do as a friend who has given you so much, and they call you and they say that they have Parkinson's? You don't really know, but you just trust that you will figure it out, and you just be there. That's what I've learned. It's the one thing that I haven't messed up, is understanding that you are just to be there. And then as you evolve into this and you walk with them through this, you understand the importance of being that bridge between their dignity and the disease. And what that looks like, and what I've learned, is that you are to lay yourself down for them to be that bridge. Laugh when they need to laugh and want to laugh, and get angry when you're angry at what they're going through, and walk through their challenges and frustrations, celebrate those moments with them, and be that bridge. So as a friend, encouraging others who get that phone call, or hear of someone that has been diagnosed, do the best that you can to be that bridge.
So my 4-year-old Carolina has this amazing bond with her Gigi, and then my youngest Gracie, she has this amazing bond with Papa, and so they each got their one. And so I think that these two girls are keeping them young and keeping them joyful and keeping them, I don't know. I just feel like when the girls are around, their Parkinson's isn't there. So we try to see them, talk to them. I mean, we talk daily, and we're eventually gonna try and find a house where we can either all live together or they live on the property or just close, because it's important to be close for taking care of each other and for taking care of them, but also to help keep them active and young and connected. So
I would say I have had a unique position being on staff at a church. At the church that I'm at, when I arrived, I was the only person with Parkinson's. But since then, 4 or 5 people have been diagnosed, and they have been hesitant to go to the doctor. And I've had several wives come to see me to say, please come and talk to my husband and tell him he's not dead yet. And so that has been a challenge, but it has been nice to bring some life to people that think their life is over. And I was there once, 4 days, laying in bed thinking, well, I mean, this might as well be the end. And now I think I've had a lot of life in those 6 years that I really had no business thinking it was over.
My name is Dave Mikulskis, and in 2018 of June, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 51. A year prior to that, I had had a discectomy, lower back discectomy, L3, 4, and 5 on the left side. And I started experiencing what felt like my toes curling involuntarily. And I thought it was related to the surgery. Then I'd had left hip surgery not long after that, in February, before the diagnosis. And again, experiencing this falling backwards sensation. I didn't actually fall down, but I would fall back, and then the leg curling, and I thought it was all related somehow. When I went to see my neurologist who performed the back surgery, and he recommended I go see a movement disorder doctor, and I didn't know what he meant. I didn't know what a movement disorder doctor was. It's a neurologist, and I went to see her. And she had said, she had done a couple of tests, and she said, well, it's either spinal cord compression, and we'll get an MRI for that, or it's Parkinson's. I had no idea. Parkinson's, it was never even in the equation. Before all of that, I had had a third sign where I would stand at the toilet or the urinal, and I would not be close enough, and my brain would say, move closer, and my feet wouldn't move. They wouldn't go quickly at all. So that was also an indication that something was not right. After that, I had noticed that my right arm wouldn't swing when I would walk, which is, now that I've been reading about Parkinson's, I know that that's a big indication, and I didn't even notice it until after the first visit with the doctor. So I went for the MRI on a Sunday. I remember they got me in very quickly, and I was in and out. And on Tuesday, I had gotten a message from my doctor saying that the spinal cord looks okay. And then I thought, well, what does that mean? And of course, it meant that her finding was that it was Parkinson's. So I went to see her, or I called her on the Wednesday to talk about it. I was devastated at the time, not knowing what it meant or what to do. But after reading about it, I told myself that it was not a death sentence, and that there are plenty of people who have Parkinson's who live normal lives. And some cases are more severe than others. I'm fortunate for right now that it's early onset and it's It's not a severe case. I don't have tremors very much. I don't shake uncontrollably, and the doctor suggested that I could either take the test to find out definitively if it was Parkinson's, or if I just take the medication and the symptoms go away, that would be the proof. And that's what I ended up doing, and symptoms went away and everything was great. I perform in a local cover band on weekends 75, 85 times a year. It had become increasingly difficult to perform at a level that I expect, just because of the slowness and the sluggishness, and not very much movement. But since I've been taking the medication and I've been able to perform, and I still do on a regular basis. In addition to taking the carbidopa, levodopa, Sinemet 25, 100, I also wear the Nupro patch, 9 milligrams or 9 grams, and take rasagiline as well. With the Sinemet, as some of you may know, you get dyskinesia, and it happens to me quite a bit, especially if I'm playing the piano. My legs will go back and forth without me knowing. This is sort of my coming out party. Not many people know, only family, close family members and friends. And if not for the support of my loving wife, this would be so much more difficult. But I continue to perform, and I will do so until I can't. And let's hope that's not for a while. What I've learned through the whole thing is that staying active, and I try to walk 40 minutes a day for 6 days out of the week, at least 6 days, hopefully 7. And singing is a great exercise for people with Parkinson's. It's be loud, be as loud as you can, be as big as you can, and just remember that it's not a death sentence. It's very important to note that exercise for me makes a difference, and I continue to sing, and singing is a big part of the exercise for helping the dopamine levels build up.
Someday love will find you. Rain don't change that body. One night will refine you. Oh, we toast and when God's everywhere.
I think it's time for me to come out and talk about it, and to raise awareness about Parkinson's, about how people can feed off of each other and be inspired by each other. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to just sit alone and dwell on it. I think it's important to get out there and just live your life.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Ooh, let it be. Let it be, let it be, and let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
My wife Melanie and I are hoping to start a support group for early onset patients. We find that there aren't very many in our area, if any, and if they are, they're for advanced seniors, and they usually have it during work hours. So we'd like to get some support for that, and we'd be happy to help out.